student, morning we started study of the vertebrate heart, right? So, but before starting the actual topic, I like to tell you initially, student, there was no mobile phone, right? There was simply first in the older period of the time, people used to write letter and they used to send it through their, you can say their servant or someone. But later on, they learned that chalo, we can take help of the dove. Then they started giving it to them. They used to give that message at the more faster rate, right? Then thereafter, Graham Bell, he has invented the telephone. Idea was very sound that no need to go anywhere. Immediately we can contact and we can talk on the phone. So, but see, as we are becoming more and more modern, it was little bit difficult to stand at one place and talk on the phone. Then there was invention of the cordless landline phone. Landline was there, but it was cordless. But up to certain stage, we can move at least in the home or in a place. But still, people want to go out, becoming more advanced, want to carry the phone. So there was invention of the mobile phone. Okay. Now come to the discovery of the computer. There was a computer, big computer was there. The task was just computation. But after that we got the internet. We are can connect the internet to the computer. Again, I told you that people are becoming more and more advanced with the generation. It was very difficult to sit with the computer. Then human invented the laptop. Okay. After that, it was the job was very easy. That yes, we can carry our computer wherever we want. It's connected to the internet. It is more and more advanced. Now we are enjoying. We have the mobile phone. We have the laptop. Later on, they make the mobile phone more smarter. The reason is that the mobile phone can do the many tasks which a computer can do. Then they got the idea of the smartphone. They merged the functions of that laptop which they wanted to carry for the job of the computation and the documentation. They merged everything into the smartphone. But the limitation was the screen, then tablets have invented. So why I am telling you this? Because this is happening with the evolution. Now organism, they are not vertebrate till earlier period. So their metabolic rate was not that high. So simple only modification of the dorsal tube and all was sufficient to pump the blood because their metabolic activity is not so much. But later on, when they evolved, they become vertebrate. So their need is becoming more and more. So they needed more and more blood to be pumped because now the system is more complex. They have the vessels. So into the closed vessel, until and unless pump or the pushing is not given, it is very difficult to pump the blood, right? So for that particular reason, the blood, there was a proper पंपिंग डिवाइस. अब यहाँ पर जो आपके मॉडिफिकेशन ऑफ वेसल वगैरह से काम नहीं चलेगा. बट वी नो दैट हार्ट इज अ मॉडिफाइड ब्लड वेसल ओनली. But now here, this heart is given the muscular wall. Understood? So with this modification, the fish evolved. And with the evolution, the fish was having proper compartmentalization of the heart. There were two chamber, atrium and the ventricle. But we saw, we discussed in detail about the fish into the morning lecture. We'll have seen there heart was only the venous heart, and now see here, this is, we can say, the mobile phone generation, that yes, the now the heart is available. One function the heart is able to do very well, that it can pump in whatever pumping and rhythmicity, ये सब चीजें तो फिट हो रही है, but only limitation is that with here कि यहाँ पर जो है गिल कैपिलरीज और जो रेस्पिरेटरी सरफेस है, इसका काम बेचारे का रेस्पिरेशन है, लेकिन यहाँ पर जो है ये ब्लड पूरी बॉडी में सप्लाई कर रही है। तो यहाँ पर देयर वाज विद इवोल्यूशन ऐसा होने लगा कि अब ये गिल कैपिलरीज तो ये काम कर रही है, बट व्हाट अबाउट द अदर रेस्पिरेटरी सरफेस, क्या ये सिस्टम वहां पे फॉलो होगा विद एडवांसमेंट, बिकॉज नाउ एनिमल वांट्स टू गो आउट ऑफ द वाटर। अब यहाँ पर उसको ये गिल छोड़ना पड़ेगा, दे हैव टू मॉडिफाई द रेस्पिरेटरी सरफेस। तो अब जो न्यू रेस्पिरेटरी सरफेस आएंगे उसमें ये सिस्टम काम करेगा। तो यहाँ पर जो है सोचा गया कि ये जो हार्ट है इसी से जो है हम लोग काम लेंगे टू पंप द ब्लड, ऑक्सीजनेटेड ब्लड ऑल्सो। अब जो है यहाँ पर से ड्वेल काम लिया जाएगा, तो इसीलिए जो है एक चैम्बर बढ़ गया हार्ट में। अंडरस्टूड नाउ? अब यहाँ पर कौन सा चैम्बर बढ़ा, ये भी इंपॉर्टेंट है, एट्रियम बढ़ जाएगा। व्हाई? फॉर द सेपरेशन ऑफ द ऑक्सीजनेटेड एंड डीऑक्सीजनेटेड ब्लड। अब यहाँ पर जो है रेप्टाइल्स एंड एम्फीबियंस दोनों में इसी टाइप का इन जनरल 3 चैम्बर्ड हार्ट दिखने वाला है, बट स्टिल यहाँ पर वेंट्रिकल एक ही है। ओके, एक साथ ही काम हो रहा है, वैसे तो काम चल रहा है, बट स्टिल वेंट्रिकल में जो है, अब यहाँ पर एक साइड एट्रियम में प्रॉपर सिस्टम है, वेरी सिस्टमेटिकली जो है डीऑक्सीजनेटेड ब्लड एक साइड है, जो भी ब्लू दिख रहा है दैट इज योर डीऑक्सीजनेटेड ब्लड, एंड जो भी आपको ये दिख रहा है रेड कलर दैट इज योर ऑक्सीजनेटेड ब्लड। तो अब यहाँ पर यू कैन सी एट्रिया में प्रॉपर सिस्टम है, डीऑक्सीजनेटेड ब्लड यहाँ पर जो है प्रॉपरली ऑक्सीजनेटेड है। बट ये जो वेंट्रिकल है, वेंट्रिकल क्या कर रहा है, थोड़ा सा मिक्सिंग ऑफ ब्लड यहाँ पर दिख रहा है। ओके, तो अब मिक्सिंग इतना ज्यादा नहीं है क्योंकि काम बहुत फास्ट हो रहा है। तो यहाँ पर पार्शियल जो है सेप्टम आया, फिर मॉडिफिकेशन भी, फिर 4 चैम्बर, और वो अलग एक स्टोरी है, वो हम नेक्स्ट लेक्चर में बात करेंगे। तो अब यहाँ पर इन शॉर्ट जनरल मैकेनिज्म क्या होने वाला है, दैट वन एट्रिया, you're right, atria that will receive the deoxygenated blood from the body. This atrium will receive the oxygenated blood from the respiratory surface. Okay, अब यहाँ पर जैसे ये दोनों फिल हो जाएंगे, they will shunt the blood inside the ventricles. So blood will go to the ventricle. Now ventricle तो है ही distributing device. So it will distribute at the same time whatever deoxygenated blood received to the respiratory surface. Now यहाँ पर it could be lung capillary, it could be skin, it could be buccopharyngeal cavity as per the organism. Now here from this side the oxygenated blood which is received from the lungs or respiratory surface, that will go to the systematic circulation, यानी कि पूरे बॉडी में जाने वाला है। तो with this basic idea we will go ahead into the further evolution and we'll learn about the heart of frog. Generally in almost in all amphibian, in reptiles, this type of heart will be there, but with some modification. Okay, so we'll start about the heart of the frog. So it is muscular, it is located mid-ventrally. Okay, you all can see ventral is the downside, mid-ventrally यानी in between dorsal और ventral के थोड़ा सा बीच में रहेगा. Now you can see from this diagram only, it is bit present into the anterior region. So yes, it is present into the anterior trunk region. When you will observe, it is reddish, triangular, Now this is the base of the heart. So the base is little bit broad and it is present to the anterior and if you will observe its apex, so you can see the apex is narrow. अब ये ऐसा सब हार्ट में होने वाला है ऑलमोस्ट, आगे जितने भी इवोल्यूशन में आने वाले हैं. Now, see, student, when we were talking about the heart of the fish, that time I told you heart is a very delicate, very important, very much sophisticated system. So it should be prevented. In the case of the fish, we all have learned there was a two membranous pericardium which was enclosing the heart. Yes, you will remember pericardium was enclosing the heart into the pericardial cavity. तो एग्जैक्टली यहाँ पर भी वैसा ही होने वाला है. द हार्ट विल डेफिनेटली सिचुएटेड इनटू द पेरिकार्डियम कैविटी, बट यहाँ पर ये जो टू मेम्ब्रेनस पेरिकार्डियम कैविटी रहेंगी इसमें थोड़ा एडवांसमेंट रहेगा. सो इन बिटवीन दिस टू पेरिकार्डियम देयर विल बी अ पेरिकार्डियल फ्लूइड. सो द पेरिकार्डियम which is attached to the heart, that particular pericardium will be called as the visceral pericardium. Visceral, viscera से याद रखेंगे, visceral pericardium. And the outer wall of pericardium, that is called as the parietal pericardium. Now imagine that two layer boundary is there and in between some type of liquid is present. Any guesses why there is a reason? What is the reason of this pericardial fluid? What is the effect?
Ma'am, shock absorber.
Excellent. Pericardial fluid, it is present in between the parietal pericardium and your visceral pericardium, and this fluid is very important. It acts as a shock absorber. One more function is that it will prevent the friction. Now we know that this is a rhythmic organ, right? So because of that rhythmicity, there is a more and more pressure over it. So if there is any shock or anything, so there may be a chance of the heart failure. So to prevent for such incidences, this pericardial fluid is present and it protects the heart from the friction as well as whatever mechanical shocks are happening. Now, as we are learning the three-chambered heart, so we know there are two anterior auricles and we have a single posterior ventricle. These are the main chamber. But along with that, we all have seen कि यहाँ पर जो है, in the case of the fish, we have discussed they were having the accessory chamber also. So yes, this frog also bear the two additional or two accessory chamber, that is sinus venosus and truncus arteriosus. Students, you all remember in the previous lecture I told you the fish is having the sinus venosus and fish was having the conus arteriosus. Now conus arteriosus because it was conus shape and in a single way it was going, but here this particular chamber is going to give rise to the trunk. So here इसीलिए name बदल जाएगा, that is going to be the truncus arteriosus. Okay, function almost similar ही रहेगा जो two additional chamber fish के थे. इन शॉर्ट यहाँ पर जो है ये ब्लड वेटिंग का काम करेंगे बिकॉज सी यहाँ पर ऑटोमेटिकली हार्ट के ऊपर थोड़ा सा प्रेशर रिड्यूस होने वाला है इफ एडिशनल चैम्बर जो है काम करेंगे. ओके, सो नाउ लेट अस डिस्कस ऑल दिस चैम्बर. सेम वर्क रहेगा साइनस विनोसिस का. इट इज गोइंग टू बी अ ट्रायंगुलर चैम्बर. यहाँ पर ये जो देख रहे हो ट्रायंगुलर चैम्बर है. क्या काम था फिश में साइनस विनोसिस का? यस, कैन एनीवन टेल मी? यस, I told you it is the, I gave you example of CR, it is going to collect the book. So what is the function of the sinus venosus in the case of fish? In the last
blood.
Yes, very good. So in the previous case, we have learned that the sinus venosus on the behalf of auricle was collecting the blood and from all the part. Now here auricle do not look after to each and every vein ke bhai tum laake blood do, tum laake blood do. That everything will be done by the sinus venosus. It is going to collect the blood from all the part of the body and proper जो जमा हो जाएगा, that blood is going to be given to the auricle. आ रही है बात समझ में? तो यहाँ पर भी उसका फंक्शन सेम है. Sinus venosus is triangular chamber. Now here the sinus venosus is attached dorsally to the heart. Now यहाँ पर जो है two anterior paracavals and one posterior post caval. पैरा नहीं, प्री कैवल, आई एम सॉरी, टू प्री कैवल्स रहेंगे. वहां पर हम लोगों ने डक्टस क्यूवेरा एंड हेपेटिक साइनस करके जो है मेन वेन्स के नाम पढ़े थे. यहाँ पर वेन के नाम बदल गए हैं. टू प्री कैवल एंड वन पोस्ट कैवल. ओके, तो ये जो है एज पर द बॉडी कैविटी दिया होगा. तो यहाँ पर जो है दे आर गोइंग टू कलेक्ट द ब्लड. अंडरस्टूड? नाउ ट्रंकस आर्टेरियोसिस के बारे में बाद में बात करेंगे क्योंकि हम लोगों को पता है इसका फंक्शन बाद में आने वाला है. नाउ ब्लड इज कलेक्टेड, आफ्टर दैट इट इज गोइंग टू enter into the auricle. But I told you that sinus venosus and this atrium, they are connected, so their connection is called as the cyanoauricular aperture. Okay, now when we talk about the cyanoauricular aperture, so you will observe that it is present near this interauricular septum. This is your children interauricular septum. मैं बहुत ज़्यादा marking नहीं करूँगी, otherwise diagram बहुत colorful हो जाएगा. So this is your interauricular septum. Now if you will observe, तो ये पूरा के पूरा जो region है, that is your auricle. Okay, this complete upper portion, इसमें बीच में जो है, this complete region is your auricle. So if you will observe, so your right auricle is quite big. You can see ये पूरा जो है आपका right auricle. This much is your right auricle and left auricle is quite small, right? So when we talk about auricle, so these are the thin walled and completely separated from each other. Proper separation is there. You all can see here. Now this separation is brought by the interauricular septum, which I have shown you. Right auricle, you all can see, is bit larger than the left. Now right auricle function will be same in all the cases. Just a minute, student. Okay. So when we talk about the right auricle, so right auricle is going to receive the blood. Now from where it is going to receive the blood? Will it receive blood from the all body part or it will receive from the sinus venosus? From where it is going to receive the blood? Right auricle. Yes, right auricle will receive blood from dash. From where it is going to receive? Come on, think about it. Now the deoxygenated blood has come to which part, children? Where your deoxygenated blood has come from the body? Yes, it is into the sinus venosus or not? Where are you all? Answer. Where is your deoxygenated blood? Now your pre-caval and post-caval, whatever vessels are there, they have drained the blood inside your sinus venosus. And this sinus venosus is going to give blood. This we had already discussed, student. Where are you all? Now this sinus venosus is full. So now this cyanoauricular aperture will open, which is guided by the wall. So this will open and this is going to shunt, or this is going to give the blood into the right auricle. Now if you will observe the position, so you will observe that it is present near the septum only. Now there is a right auricle. Okay, now we will talk about the left auricle. So you will observe that left auricle is quite small. It is receiving the common opening of the pulmonary vein. Okay, common opening matlab there are no separated veins, only a single opening will be there. Now note down about common opening that it do not have any walls. It is opening without walls. So whenever now see why the reason behind is that this particular common opening, this is we are talking about the frog. So we know that it has many matlab three breathing surface, buccopharyngeal cavity, it is having the lungs, it also can respire by the skin. So that's why there is a common opening of the pulmonary veins. Okay, so now all from wherever it is going to respire, the heart is very smart. The heart will send blood to that particular respiratory surface, and from there the blood will go to the lungs, and from the lungs it is going to come to the common opening of the pulmonary vein. Now this is not guarded by the valve, because to open the valve there is a need of the pressure, and there is no such chances of the backflow. So that's why walls are absent. So MCQ can be asked, walls are absent in following. So you should remember common opening of pulmonary veins in case of frog. The walls are absent. Now when we talk about auricle, so both left as well as the right auricle, they open into the ventricle. Now whenever they are opening, so there is a need of the wall, there is a need of the aperture. So there is going to be a common large auriculoventricular aperture. Why there is a common? Because ventricle is common for this as well as this. There is going to be a single ventricle, so there is going to be a common opening that is known as the auriculoventricular aperture, and that opening is guarded by the pair of flap like auriculoventricular valve. Now we will talk about the ventricle. One ventricle hai. So this is thick. Now we have learned in the earlier case also that ventricle is thick and it is muscular. Now here in this particular case, this muscular mass, they are making the strand, or you can say the ridge-like structure, which are irregularly. You can see these features. So these features, these strands, they all are called as the columnae carneae. Columnae carneae. Okay, here name is written. You can note down. और ट्रैबेक्यूलर भी बोलते हैं इनको. ट्रैबेक्यूलर मीन्स इट इज अ सेप्टम विच इज डिवाइडिंग एनी टाइप ऑफ ऑर्गन इनर टिश्यूज. ओके, टिश्यू में जो कंपार्टमेंटाइजेशन होता है दैट इज कॉल्ड एज द ट्रैबेक्यूलर. बट हियर दिस पर्टिकुलर ट्रैबेक्यूलर का एक प्रॉपर नेम है दैट इज नोन एज द कॉलमनी कार्निया. So that you need to remember and note down. Now see, if all this thing is coming, musculature, fissure, columnae, carne, all this thing is going to reduce the area, because these all are occupying spaces. No? So this ventricle, this will shortening into the size. Now this ventricle, it will open into the truncus arteriosus. Now here it is not going to enter directly into the your so-called ventricle or your ventral aorta. It is going to enter into the truncus arteriosus. एक proper compartmentization चाहिए, because here ventricle के पास में अपना कोई compartment नहीं है. So this truncus arteriosus, this will have special type of walls. Now this ventricle will open into the truncus arteriosus, which is guarded by the three semilunar valves, which we have also learned in the case of the earlier example. Now this valve will prevent the backflow of the blood from the truncus to the ventricle again. Now this cavity of the truncus arteriosus, this will have the spirally twisted. Okay, this inside inner portion, this will have the spirally twisted form. Again, it will twist or spiraling will call the two portion. Now we are talking about here, this region. Okay, truncus arteriosus. This region we are concerned. This particular area. So if you will observe this truncus arteriosus from inside, it is divided into the two unequal region. Again, there are semilunar walls. When you will observe long basal thick wall, that is going to form the phalangium, and there is again a short distal wall that is going to form a synangium. So this phalangium, they will turn incompletely divided by large twisted longitudinal spiral wall. Now this will cause left dorsal cavium pulmonocutaneum, this region. Okay, I'm concerned with this particular region, and in the right side you will observe it is going to form the cavium aorticum. अब यहाँ पर केवम पल्मोनोक्यूटानेम और केवम एओर्टिकम, इनका क्या काम है? क्योंकि दिस वेंट्रिकल इट हैज टू डिस्ट्रीब्यूट द ब्लड टू द टू प्लेसेस. एक तो इसे सिस्टमिक आर्च में देना है, सिस्टमिक आर्च मतलब टू द बॉडी साइड देना है. ओके, एज वेल एज इट हैज टू गिव द ब्लड टू योर द पल्मोनरी साइड, है ना. इसको जो है ब्लड कहाँ पर देना है? pulmonary arches also. So here both the side blood has to go. So how this blood will go to both the side? So for that particular reason, this particular truncus or aortis, this has been divided from inside, ताकि जो है blood जो है जहाँ पर जाना है proper side में चला जाए. So this is about your truncus arteriosus. Now when we talk about the pulmocutaneous arch, so it will go to the pulmocutaneum, where it will go to the opening of the systemic as well as the carotid arches into the cavum aorticum. So this will go inside the lungs, and this all openings there will be. Now see here the blood is in effect of the contraction. Okay, rhythmicity, so pressure is there, so everywhere walls will be present. Now how this heart works? So now we all know that we have the sinus venosus. The sinus venosus is collecting the blood in the case of the frog, and on behalf of auricle, the sinus venosus is collecting the blood. So this blood will be pumped to the your atrium, or you can say your right side of auricle. At the same time, the blood will come, whatever blood has come from the lung through the pulmonary artery, at the same time it should come. मतलब बोलने का मतलब ये है कि right atrium and the left atrium ये दोनों at the same time भरना चाहिए. आ रही है बात समझ में? तो because see, whenever rhythmicity is going to occur, so this rhythmicity is going to contract the entire atrium, right, as well as the left. So at the same time, both the auricle should be filled. It should happen in all the case. Other case जो हम लोग other studies करने वाले हैं, so both the side this is going to be happening. So here sinus venosus is ready, pulmonary vein is ready. Okay. At the same time, the blood is going to enter into the right atrium as well as your left atrium here also. So now these both the atriums are completely filled. They have the blood which has been shunt by the sinus venosus as well as the pulmonary vein. Now after filling, these atriums are full, so they are going to give signal to the valve. Okay, which wall? Ventricular wall. Now we know there is a common auriculoventricular aperture. So here also force is coming, here also force is coming. So now this rhythmicity will happen and it is going to contract atrium directly. Okay, where the contraction and where the rhythmicity is happening, to the atrium part, and after that the oxygenated blood from the left side and deoxygenated blood from your right side will uh, shunt inside the ventricle, यानी पूरा के पूरा ऑक्सीजनेटेड एज वेल एज डीऑक्सीजनेटेड ब्लड आएगा यहाँ पर वेंट्रिकल में. इमीडिएटली द ब्लड will go inside the this your truncus atriosus. Can anyone tell me what is the reason? The reason is to prevent the mixing. Mixing थोड़ा बहुत तो होगा, but immediately जो है blood will be forwarded inside it because यहाँ पर जो है compartment अलग अलग है. So now this blood from the pulmocutaneous artery will be going, and from here the blood will go to the conus arteriosus. So this will give to the lungs, this will give to the systemic arch. So here this way the blood is happening, but still there is a mixing little bit of the oxygenated and deoxygenated blood. तो और इसमें modification का काम किया जाएगा और compartmentization होंगे and more evolution will be done. But at least सर्कुलेशन जो है लिटिल बिट डिस्टर्ब हो गया था जब टेट्रापोड लैंड पे आ गए थे, गिल्स चेंज हो गए थे, पल्मोनरी रेस्पिरेटरी, ओवरऑल ये सारी चेंजेस इसलिए करना पड़ा क्योंकि देयर वाज अ चेंज इनटू द रेस्पिरेटरी सरफेस. अब तक के जो है गिल्स बेचारे डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन का काम कर रहे थे, बट नाउ द गिल्स हैव बीन रिप्लेस्ड बाय द लंग्स. तो लंग्स विल नॉट बी एबल टू डू दैट डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन. दे वर वेरी मच oriented in their own task. They were not ready to distribute the blood. तो यहाँ पर कोई तो काम देना था, तो वो काम हार्ट को दिया गया कि ओके यू डिस्ट्रीब्यूट. तो एटलीस्ट फिलहाल के लिए तो इतना ओके था, बट नाउ दिस मिक्सिंग ऑफ ऑरिकुलो वेंट्रिकुलर मिक्सिंग ऑफ द वेंट्रिकल ब्लड, मतलब यहाँ पर थोड़ा बहुत ऑक्सीजनेटेड डीऑक्सीजनेटेड ब्लड मिक्स हो रहा है, इसीलिए दिस पर्टिकुलर टाइप ऑफ सर्कुलेशन इज नोन एज इम्परफेक्ट डबल सर्कुलेशन. परफेक्ट डबल इम्परफेक्ट इसलिए क्योंकि थोड़ा बहुत जो है मिक्सिंग ऑफ ब्लड हो रहा है. ठीक है, चलो ऑर्गेनिज्म छोटा है, काम चल रहा है, बट यू अप्लाई दिस थिंग टू हाईली एक्टिव और हाईली टेरेस्ट्रियल एनिमल, जैसे कि रेप्टाइल्स हो गया, रेप्टाइल्स बोल रही, जैसे कि बर्ड्स हो गया, फिर उसके बाद में आपके ह्यूमन हो गए. सो दिस थिंग्स विल नॉट वर्क. सो देयर वाज अ नीड ऑफ मोर इवोल्यूशन. जो भी मॉडिफिकेशन हो गया इसके और लेटेस्ट वर्जन की जरूरत थी. तो दैट लेटेस्ट वर्जन एंड मोर मॉडिफिकेशन वी ऑल विल डिस्कस इनटू द नेक्स्ट क्लास. टिल नाउ एनी डाउट? अंडरस्टूड व्हाट इज द वर्किंग? ओनली द मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट थिंग यू नीड टू रिमेंबर, ब्लड कहाँ से आ रहा है, कहाँ जा रहा है. Is that clear? So if you will do in that way, the thing will become easier. Don't by heart the things. Make the concept. Yes, this is this compartment. Note it down. From here the blood will go to this part. From here the blood will go to the right part. So if you will start learning in this manner, so that concept will drill. Okay, and this drilling of concept will definitely help you to remember the overall system. अदरवाइज आप यहाँ पे ही कंफ्यूज रहोगे. एंड ऑलवेज व्हेनेवर यू आर डूइंग द कंपैरेटिव स्टडी यू कंपेयर, क्योंकि प्रीवियस केस में ये था, ये मॉडिफिकेशन है. व्हेन यू विल लर्न दिस वे, सो द कंसेप्ट विल बिकम मोर एंड मोर क्लियर टू यू ऑल. सो एनी डाउट स्टूडेंट? इफ नॉट वी कैन स्टॉप.
No, ma'am.
Okay, so we'll stop at this note.